This presentation is about a reflective practice research project that I'm conducting based on an overseas short travel program subject that I ran twice to China and once to South Korea from 2015 to 2017. And this study tour was based on environment and sustainability. The main objective of this study tour was to take students to a place to a society that is inherently unsustainable. So if we think of China, we think of South Korea, we think of the scale of development, the population density, the pollution challenges of these societies. These are on another level to something that we're used to here in Australia. So immersing the students in that experience, taking them out of their ordinary realities to be immersed in that. The goal was to provide them with a space where they could step out of the normal reality and look back on their ordinary lives, look back on their experiences here in Australia with some kind of basis of comparison to be able to critically reflect on their practice here. And the overarching goal of that is to encourage them as emerging professionals to become holistic sustainability transition practitioners. So the sustainability transition is this, as the graphic suggests on the slide here. How do we get from this place of ecological crisis that we're in today to a society that is properly sustainable? So not the greenwash idea of sustainability that we're often bombarded with, but a society that does not undercut its preconditions for existence, a society that can regenerate itself through ecological processes. So that's the goal for this study tour. But the global sustainability transition is more complicated than, those two little Earth graphics on the slide there. The global sustainability transition is a set of interrelated processes across all of those elements that you see on the slide there. So whatever field participating students are coming from, and we drew students into this travel program from across both colleges of the university, one way or another in their professions, they're going to be immersed in this sustainability transition process. Now, I've highlighted environment and ontology there as in really important elements of this process. The environment one is highlighted because the ecological crisis, because a lot of the systems of our society are rooted in an anthropocentric ontology. The operations are not located consciously within sustaining the ecosystems that we're a part of. And the ontology is part of that anthropocentric focus. To move beyond that, to be properly sustainable, we really need to be moving to an ontology that's more ecocentric and that locates human beings as constituents within the ecosystems upon which we're interdependent. So, this idea of complex interdependence has come up quite a bit today. The interdependence that I suggest is really important from a global citizenship perspective is how we relate to the natural world. Because if we're talking about global citizenship from an ecological perspective, ecosystems do not recognise state boundaries. So, as an Earth citizen, we have roles and responsibilities in relation to how we relate to the natural environment. And that has implications for how we relate to each other as well, and the really core justice dimensions that come with that have also been mentioned today. So the question from a pedagogical perspective is, how do we get students to start to play in that space of changing their ontological relationship to the natural world? And I've been playing with a lot of different models on this, and I struck upon the idea of looking at the study tour as a shamanic journey experience. Now, every culture in the world has had or has shamanic traditions. of shamans, of people who were able to journey to non-ordinary realities, to different realities of consciousness, in order to get information, in order to heal themselves and their societies, and be able to establish connections and to create harmony. This is a role, this is an archetype that I thought would be really appropriate to get students to slip into that role and to be able to play that role in their chosen professions, to be able to step into their professions from an ecocentric perspective and be able to play that out. So if we look at some of the roles that shamans perform when they're in this alternate state of reality, if we look at across different cultures, and there's been a lot of work done here by some people, including a scholar guy like Michael Harner from the United States, who's done work looking across a number of different shamanic traditions around the world and saying what are the common elements to these traditions that we can distill out. And these are some of them. So the healer, looking at ecological crisis, the healer goes through a journey experience in order to heal the trauma to ecosystems, or in order to heal the trauma to people. The peacemaker is there to create harmony. So the peacemaker is looking at relationships and how to heal relationships. The bridge person is the person that's able to establish connections across different modes of reality. So in our experience, it's the person that can bridge disciplinary boundaries. It's the person that can bridge across cultures. It's the person that's able to relate to other people and bring people together for difficult conversations to do that healing and to heal those relationships. The teacher, the person that can go on a journey to somewhere different and learn something and bring that information back to share with their communities and their societies, which is really important if you're going overseas on a study tour to East Asia. What is it about these societies and how they're approaching environmental problems and the kind of innovations, the unique innovations that they're developing in those contexts that we can bring back and can be helpful to us, and what can we share with them? And then the manifestor role of the shamanic archetype is really the activist part of this. We've got this crisis, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to use this journey experience to come back and do something positive, manifest something positive from this trip, so it's not just an intellectual experience, but it's something that's going to be of benefit not just to yourself, but your families and your communities and your societies. Now I have to stress that this trip is not about shamanism at all. The shamanic journey is taken as a pedagogical model in how I might structure this trip moving forward. So looking back on how we ran the trip, it was very much a traditional study tour. We tried to develop engagements with any organisations, government, business, academic that were involved in environment sustainability practice. But it was kind of ad hoc, and it was difficult. It takes time to establish connections in other countries. It's difficult to structure an itinerary. So what I'm hoping to develop here is to have a much more conceptually structured pedagogy for this subject, so that when students do it the next time we run it, they're going to come out of it with a very clear vision and mission about how they can advance themselves as sustainability transition practitioners. How am I going for time? Yeah, cool. Yes. So this is an ongoing research project. I haven't actually run the tour in this way yet, and I'm still gathering information. I'm really keen for feedback, on what are your thoughts on what I've presented here. In a one-on-one conversation, I can flesh this out in a bit more detail as well. So really happy to have conversations, or please do get in touch. I'm easy to find if you've got any questions or comments. So thank you.